Hello guys, I am Yejun and then I'm the reporter from BSS News. So in this news, we will gonna introduce to you about the uprising Soweto riots with different interview, like with different perspective of people, which is a victim, which is a student, and also SA government, South African government, and lastly, UN international group from China called Daily Jiang. Okay, so as a basic background information of it, the Soweto Uprising, also known as Soweto Youth Uprising, was a series of protests and violent clashes that occurred in Soweto township of Johannesburg, South Africa in 1976. The main cause of the Soweto Uprising tracks back to Banned Education, which happened in 1953. The Banned Education Act's goal was to make black children inferior to white children. Students were educated just enough to work in urban areas or factories, which is unfair. The black people were required to learn in only their homeland language. Therefore, when African was assigned as a medium instruction of language, South Africans were furious at the unfair treatment and started riots. And then as a result of the protests, it leads to many harm to police and also students and also government. As a result of the protests, 20,000 students joined the riots and an estimated 176 students were killed by the police. Therefore, in this news, we will be interviewing one of the victims, of the leader of student organization of the Soweto riots, and also perspective of South African government, and lastly, a UN, like international groups, solution of this kind of actions. Yes, thank you. Oh. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so my name is Yejun from BSS News, and then we'll interview about Soweto uprising that happened, like few years ago, as a perspective of victim and the students.
So let me introduce myself, and then my name is Suwai, which is I was a student protester while the Soweto riot was uprising, and then I also in the same time I was a victim of the African policy that tortured us very, because of the apartheid law. So, what you gonna ask for me?
Okay, so I wanna ask you like a few questions, and then the first off, okay, so could you explain what happened in the Soweto uprising as a perspective of students?
During the march?
Yes.
During the march? So I don't want to rethink about it, but then, so basically, during that day, we just prepared the march with several students, like a lot of students, and then we just do the march, and then, like it was very terrifying because everyone was screaming, and then like they're just like getting brutally beaten up by the polices because the policies didn't want this kind of event to happen, because this event is basically happened because the apartheid law, which is the discrimination law. So yeah, my brother was just beaten up and then just had kind of bad body condition that day. So like, yeah, also my friends were just getting tortured by the policies.
Oh, okay, that's really sorry to hear that. And then, but could you explain the purpose of the Soweto riot was?
So basically the purpose of the march during that day was to know that we have to know like what just happened, And then like why we did the Soweto riots is because basically they set the Afrikaans as the medium instruction of the school that tortured us, and then it was discrimination. So we didn't have like a broad reasons, but then we just furious about the action, so we just stroked the government and then just tried to protest it.
Okay, thank you for your interview. It was very helpful to spread the world about the Soweto rights, and then thank you. Okay.
Is this going to be in television?
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Okay, and then for the next one, we will interview about with South African government, who contributed to the Soweto riots. Thank you. Okay, so right now I want to interview with international group from UN member from China. Hello, Daily Chan.
Hello.
I am a reporter from BSS News. And then I heard that you want to show an interest in this particular Soweto rights, right?
How? We are promoting students' educational rights in SC as a representative of China.
Okay, so right now I want to interview with international group from UN member from China. Hello, Daily Chan.
Hello.
I am a reporter from BSS News. And then I heard that you want to show an interest in this particular Soweto rights, right?
How? We are promoting students' educational rights in SC as a representative of China. We will strive for equality of students in country. The kind of unfair discrimination must stop. We, the UN, and other countries strongly disagree with the South African government. Its pressure against the Black African people. Stop the South African government.
Okay, sir. Please chill down a little bit, okay? Show some respect, okay? This is a official interview, okay, sir?
According to our UN resolution of the Soweto Riot in 1976, it is convinced that time situation has been brought about by the continued impositions by the South African government of apartheid and racial discrimination. We will use a nice way to talking. However, if it continues, we have to use our forces.
Okay, so today we're talking to South African politician called Ima.
Hello, I am Imal from the Educational Department.
Okay, hello. Okay, so we BSS News want to ask you some question about the Soweto protest.
Oh, the soda protests? Sure.
Okay, so why did government introduce Africans as a medium instruction? Like there would be a lot of opposition though.
It's not in my right to say, and however, it is really important to say that the situation of the South African government back then, it was a very hard time. There were a lot of issues, and we didn't have time to check on students.
That is not an excuse. They still were hurt by the protest. The government didn't take a responsibility for this action.
To be completely honest, the government does not care. These students are a very last priority, and it is impossible to check every single individual opinion.
You guys are crazy. Okay, so well, thank you for your interview. We appreciate your show, but I think the government should be acting more nicely to the students. Yes. Thank you.